નમસ્કાર યુએસ આપ જોઈ રહ્યા છો ગુજરાત તકનું વિશેષ બુલેટિન અને આપની સાથે હું છું સૌમ્યા। આજરોજ વડાપ્રધાન નરેન્દ્ર મોદીના માતા હીરાબાને યુએન મહેતા હોસ્પિટલમાં દાખલ કરવામાં આવ્યા। તેમની તબિયત જે છે એ નાદુરસ્ત હોવાના કારણે તેમને હોસ્પિટલમાં દાખલ કરવામાં આવ્યા। વડાપ્રધાન નરેન્દ્ર મોદીના માતા હીરાબાની તબિયત નાજુક થતાં તેઓ દિલ્હીથી અમદાવાદ આવી પહોંચ્યા હતા। તેમના તમામ રિપોર્ટ્સ કરવામાં આવ્યા છે। તેમની 6 એક્સપર્ટ ડોક્ટર તેમજ અન્ય એક્સપર્ટ સ્ટાફને સાથે રાખીને ટ્રીટમેન્ટ કરાવવામાં આવી રહી છે। હાલ હીરાબાની તબિયત સુધારા પર છે। આ અંગે સમાચાર મળતા જ વડાપ્રધાન નરેન્દ્ર મોદી દિલ્હીથી અમદાવાદ આવવા નીકળી ગયા હતા। તેઓ સાંજે 4 વાગે યુએન મહેતા હોસ્પિટલ પહોંચ્યા હતા, જ્યાં તેમણે માતાના સ્વાસ્થ્ય અંગે નિષ્ણાતો અને તબીબો સાથે વાતચીત કરી હતી। યુએન મહેતા હોસ્પિટલે બપોરે સત્તાવાર રીતે હીરાબાની તબિયત સુધારા પર હોવાનું હેલ્થ બુલેટિન રિલીઝ કર્યું હતું। તેમજ હોસ્પિટલમાં લગભગ સવા કલાક સુધી વડાપ્રધાન નરેન્દ્ર મોદી રોકાયા હતા અને ત્યારબાદ તેઓ દિલ્હી જવા રવાના થયા હતા। તો બુલેટિનમાં હવે નજર કરીએ ગૌતમ અદાણી સાથે થયેલી ખાસ વાતચીત પર, નજર કરીએ એક્સક્લુઝિવ ઇન્ટરવ્યુ પર।
Hello, I'm Raj Chengappa from India Today and welcome to this special interview with Gautam Adani, Chairman of the Adani Group. Gautam bhai, thank you for speaking to India Today.
Thank you, Raj, for inviting me.
I must say that the growth of the Adani Group has been truly astonishing. In little over a decade, you have become India's largest private sector power producer, port operator, airport operator, consumer gas business and electric transmission company, apart from being the largest infrastructure developer and generator in renewables. This year, your group has become this country's second largest cement manufacturer, and you are diversifying rapidly into other sectors including aircraft maintenance, manufacturing, telecom, data center and logistics and a whole lot of other areas. But there is even more that you have achieved in 2022. With a personal net worth of $150 billion, you have become the richest Indian, overtaking Mukesh Ambani of Reliance and other stalwarts to the top spot. For your phenomenal growth in terms of both business and in personal wealth and the impact that you have made to millions across the country, Gautam bhai, I'm happy to inform you that India Today magazine has declared you as its Newsmaker of the Year 2022. So congratulations for this recognition.
Thank you very much.
Now, Gautam bhai, when you look back at 2022, what makes this year so special for you?
So first of all, thank you, Raj. 2022 was an exceptional year in many ways. We had a successful Adani Wilmar IPO, and thus Adani Wilmar is becoming the 7th listed company in the group. We have built a business model where we start a business from scratch, make it profitable, and then go public. This IPO was another example of that. We also become India's second largest cement manufacturers when we acquired ACC and Ambuja Cements for around $10.5 billion from Holcim. It is the largest acquisition we have ever made, and it is also India's largest ever M&A transactions in the infrastructure and a material space.
That's very impressive. Now, apart from being the richest Indian and the richest Asian, you're also the world's 3rd richest person. How does it feel to be wealthy? What does money mean to you?
See, Rajbhai, these rankings and numbers do not matter to me. These are only media hype. I'm a first generation entrepreneur who had to build everything from scratch. I get my thrills from handling challenges, and the bigger they are, the happier I am. For me, the opportunity and ability to make a difference in the lives of people and contribute to the growth and building of the nation is far more satisfying and important than being on some wealth ranking or a valuation list. I am thankful to God that He has given me a great opportunity to serve the nation through infrastructure building.
Now, you talked of happiness. Can you add a little bit? Can you define what really makes you happy?
Personally speaking, this was the biggest year of my life. This year, I celebrated my 60th birthday. This personal milestone apart, on this occasion, my family committed rupees 60,000 crores to the Adani Foundations to support mainly 3 social causes which is close to my heart: education, healthcare, and skill development, which are foundational for any nation. This has given me immense satisfactions and happiness, which no professional achievement can ever give.
So, Gautam Bhai, let's explore this further. What motivates you when you do business or in life itself?
As an ordinary man, the courage, strength, resilience, and tenacity of the average Indians are very inspiring and motivating for me. To share with you, at the second edition of our Green Talk series, I was greatly moved by the stories of Arunima Sinha and Kiran Kanodia, 2 extraordinary women who unfortunately lost their limbs but yet conquered the world. Arunima climbed Mount Everest, and Kiran, a blade runner, is running marathons. Both are incredible women and the pride of India. They are the real heroes of a Naya India. Their stories moved me so much that I had a tears in my eyes. I am truly humbled by their spirit. Could there be anything more motivating than such courage, valor, and determinations in the face of adversity? Seeing their story, my belief is further reinforced that there is no machine stronger than human beings. Such human stories are the biggest source of motivation for me.
That's truly inspiring. I want to turn to business now. And let's look at the logic behind your group's phenomenal expansion in infrastructure as well as in newer areas.
I was born in a middle class family, and I lived through the 90s, 70s, and 80s when we had to struggle for Bijli, Sadak, and Pani. That was a time when India had a huge infrastructure deficit in ports, airports, and many other infrastructure areas. In contrast, China, which also became independent around the same time as India and had lower per capita income than India in 1990, began leapfrogging ahead of India in development. All this issue instilled a huge desire in me to do whatever I could do to transform India, particularly in infrastructures, and make India stronger. Meanwhile, starting from 1991, policy changes created an enabling environment for the entry of the private sector in the infrastructure space. This is why I am determined to use every opportunity to build a world-class infrastructures and facilities for India and Indians.
Gautam bhai, your phenomenal growth in the past decade has demonstrated that. What is your management style? What is your mantra for success?
See, all our businesses are run by our professionals and competent CEOs. I do not interfere in their day-to-day functioning. My role is limited to formulating a strategy, capital allocations, and their performance review. It is for this reason that I have time to manage such a large and diverse organizations, but also incubate several new businesses and also look for new opportunities for acquisitions.
Now, one of the new acquisitions that you've made is taking over the NDTV group. Now, would you follow the same principle of non-interference that you have demonstrated in your other group companies? And secondly, how would you ensure editorial independence?
See, Raj, on our editorial independence, let me say categorically that NDTV will be a credible, independent, global network with a clear Lakshman Rekha between management and editorial. You can endlessly debate and interpret each and every word of what I am saying, as has been done by many. But my fundamental point is that the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So please allow us some time before you start judging us.
We will do that, and we'll see the Lakshman Rekha that you've set between management and editorial, and whether that principle that you set will follow. But let us also look at another concern that has been raised by some of your critics, that the Adani Group is highly over-leveraged. It has a debt of close to 2 lakh crores. What gives you the confidence that you can maintain this debt and repay it?
See, Raj, I must confess that I am greatly surprised by the conversations around our debt. We are financially very strong and secure. Such noises are coming mainly from two categories. The first category is of the people who are not doing deep diving to understand the detailed nuances of debt and finances of company. I'm sure if they make an effort to understand the financial statements, all the misgivings about debt will disappear. However, there is second category of people with a vested interest, deliberately creating confusion and misunderstanding to tarnish the reputation of the group. The fact of the matter is that in the past 9 years, our profit has been growing at twice the rate of our debt, and because of which our debt to EBITDA ratio has come down from 7.6 to 3.2, which is a very, very healthy for a large group where most of the companies are in the infrastructure space with an assured and a predictable cash flow, unlike in a manufacturing. It is for this reason that not only national but international rating agencies have rated us equivalent to India's sovereign rating. It is a matter of great pride for me that no other business group in India has as many companies as the Adani Group, which has sovereign ratings. Raj, you are well aware that rating agencies, and particularly the international ones, are a very conservative and stingy in giving rating, and they have a very, very rigorous and robust systems and processes of a financial analysis. To share with you, it is for this fundamental financial strength of our group that we were able to close the ACC and Ambuja cement deal of $10.5 billion in a record time in less than just 3 months.
Now, I need to persist with this questioning because there are also concerns that banks, including public sector banks, have a huge exposure to Adani debt. How do you respond to such concerns?
Raj, this is a good question. People raise concerns without verifying the facts. And the fact is, 9 years ago, out of our total debt, 86% was lending from Indian banks. But now, the exposure of Indian banks in our total lending is reduced to only a level of 32%. Almost 50% of our borrowing is now through international bonds. You will appreciate that international investors are a very astute and subscribe after proper due diligence and deep study.
Gautam Bhai, how would you respond to your critics who say that your rise and your meteoric rise was because of Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
See, Prime Minister Modi and myself, both are coming from state of Gujarat. And that makes me the easy target of such baseless allegations. When I look back at my entrepreneurial journey, I can divide it into 4 phases. Many will be surprised to know that it all began during the tenure of Sri Rajiv Gandhi as the Prime Minister, when he first liberalized the EXIM policy, and for the first time, several items were brought in the open general license list. That is what helped me to start my export house. But for Rajiv Gandhi, my journey as an entrepreneur would never have taken off. The second big push I got was in 1991, when the duo of Prime Minister Narsih Rao ji and the Finance Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh ji initiated sweeping economic reforms. Just like many other entrepreneurs, I too was a beneficiary of those reforms. There is no point in further elaborating on it because so much has been said and written about it. The third turning point for me came in 1995 when Kesubhai Patel was sworn in as a Gujarat Chief Minister. Until then, all industrial development in Gujarat was only around National Highway 8 from Mumbai to Delhi via cities like Vapi, Ankleshwar, Bharuch, Silvassa, Vadodara, Surat and Ahmedabad. He was a visionary and a focused on a coastal development. And it was that policy change that took me to Mundra and prompted me to build our first port. The rest, as they say, is a history. The fourth turning point was in 2001 when Gujarat witnessed a massive focus on development under Chief Minister Narendra Modi ji. His policies and their implementations went on to not only change the economic landscape of the state, but it also brought social transformations and development of previously underdeveloped areas. It also allowed industries and employment to take off like never before. Today, under his able leadership, we are seeing a similar resurgence at the national and international levels, where a new India is now asserting itself. It is unfortunate that such narratives are being pushed against me. As I explained, these allegations are baseless and suffer from a recency bias, seeing our group success through a short-term lens. The fact of the matter is that my professional success is not because of any individual leader, but because of the policy and institutional reforms initiated by several leaders and governments during a long period of over 3 decades.
So, if you look at the turning points, it appears that it straddles various political parties and spectrum, not necessarily one thing. But you did mention Mr. Narendra Modi, and you have seen his rise being in Gujarat from the Chief Minister to the Prime Minister. What would you say is Prime Minister Modi's style of leadership?
See, Prime Minister Modi ji has provided a visionary and an inspirational leadership to India. He has not only brought about significant policy changes, but also through various programs and schemes directly touch the lives of every Indians. There is hardly any aspect of governance which he has not touched. He is trying hard to bring transformative changes not only in the Indian economy but also pushing for a social transformation and an inclusive growth.
On this optimistic note, Gautam Bhai, thank you very much for this interview. And let us hope 2023 brings us a lot more joy, a lot more opportunities, and makes India greater. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again for being made India Today magazine's Newsmaker of the Year 2022.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
તો સમાચારોમાં અત્યારે બસ આટલું જ. ગુજરાતના તમામ મહત્વના સમાચાર જોવા માટે આપ જોતા રહો ગુજરાત તક. નમસ્કાર.